Well, look, we are in the presence of greatness today.
Yes.
It is wonderful. We've been following you our whole career. Matt's wife's got a girl crush on you. Like, we're all...
She's got excellent taste.
She does have excellent taste.
I mean, come on.
And we've also got Steve joining us as well. So Jillian Michaels and Steve, and you've got a wonderful product launch. And we wanted to start it off with, you know, you've been such an inspiration to millions and millions of people. Why this relationship? And a bit about your history. Why are you here? What's brought you to this relationship? And you're saying how energized you are by it.
Okay. The obvious being the tech. I've used this kind of tech since it first came out. I mean, way back on Biggest Loser, I was saying, okay, I need this many steps, I need your calorie burn to be this before you go to bed. And it never failed me. Never. I mean, you saw the results week after week after week, and I could calculate their weight loss down to the pound. You know, there were a few like water fluctuations, but like electrolyte imbalances that we got a hold of a little later on. But I mean, the data is so solid, so it just became a staple in my toolbox. As time went on, devices weren't super attractive. Okay, fine, they work great, right? Whatever. And they got more expensive, and these things stopped becoming accessible. So I'd say like, okay, do you have a fitness tracker? Do you have a smartwatch? Oh, they're $500 or $600 or $700. And you start to realize that you're breathing rarefied air now to use these things. So one day I come across iTouch, and I'm like, man, that's sick. Because I'm looking at the aesthetic of it. And I'm like, what is that? And because I'm looking at the tracker, and I'm looking at the smartwatch, I'm like, iTouch wearables. And so I start looking at the features. And the features are all comparable. It's like, oh, my wife's on Android, I'm on Apple.
How's that working out?
It's a little annoying, by the way.
Yeah.
The green text pissed me
It does.
off.
Gotta go blue.
We're on WhatsApp
Gotta
now.
do it.
We're doing it via WhatsApp. Is how we're coexisting.
Compromise.
Yeah, but iTouch has helped because we can at least have the same devices in the house. So, nevertheless, works on both platforms, and I'm like, wow, that's amazing. I'm like, all right, how much is that thing? I'm like, leather strap, like, is this
Yeah, let's have a look at this, because this is like,
I mean, how sick is
look at
that,
this,
right?
Look at this. I mean,
like, it's like,
that's
looks like it's Hermes. I mean, it's sick. So I was like, all right, is it gonna be like the expensive device on crack? Because I'm thinking, like, this customization and this aesthetic is like, yeah, it does all the stuff they do, but look at ours. You know, I'm thinking it's gonna be a fortune. Anyway, it's like $85 to $115. So I call my business partner. I'm like, get me one of these devices. I want to see if this works. So he gets me one. I'm like, this thing is awesome. This is awesome. I'm like, call them back and see if there's any way to work together. So here we are. And obviously you get, a 3-month membership to my app as well with the device. So it's like, you got the content, you've got all the tracking, smartwatch stuff, whatever you want, totally customizable, best quality, like aesthetic, design, materials. Like, why wouldn't I be? And that's really what I've always been about, is how do you make the tools and the education accessible and affordable? And that's what these guys are all about.
Well, that's great. So tap us into the features. Take us tech. This is your role in this conversation.
So we'll go tech. So to start off with the point, we love working with Jillian because she gets it. Exactly what she said. It's all about accessibility. So our tagline, really, our mantra is comparable features, extreme value. We want to be accessible because we know that so many consumers out there don't have access to that rarefied air.
And those are the ones that need it the most.
And those are the ones that need it.
Yeah.
So we really wanted to have something that can be for everyone and be very, very inclusive. So what we did is we did a tremendous amount of research, really looking through the lens of the consumer. The fortunate part is so many of us within the organization have a retail background, have a wholesale background, and our company, American Exchange Group, has other product categories, from footwear to handbags to accessories. So we were in the space of price-conscious consumers. And so by understanding what matters to them and what is the most used features that really can make a difference, so we created a curated assortment of features that make sense to keep the price as affordable as possible. So in terms of lifestyle, notifications is out of the gate. So you'll get your text notifications, you'll get your email notifications, your social media notifications, right out of the gate. And when it gets to health and wellness, this all started years back with counting your steps. So the pedometer is a must-have. So you have to have the pedometer on there. So you have to get for that whether it's 10,000 steps or 15,000 steps or whatever goal you set forth for your journey.
15,000 steps.
This is going to be what
are you doing,
I got
Steve?
14,000 yesterday.
Jeez,
just walking the show.
The show,
Wow.
yeah.
I can't even call him a liar because I know the tech is accurate.
So that's very, very important. And then as we've developed throughout the years, it includes a heart rate monitor, blood pressure, so those kinds of things are very, very important. And then it's going to be a health and wellness. So there's an app feature that is just for mindfulness, for restfulness. So it just walks you through some breathing exercises to just calm down and take a moment to just enjoy yourself and have your own me time for 5 minutes or 10 minutes or whatever it is. Because we see that stress is a big factor into health and wellness and weight gain and so on and so forth. So those are some of the key ones, but it also has some cool new fun stuff. One of them is a new feature for this year called Love Tap. And what Love Tap does is if, Jillian has a device, and her wife has a device, if wherever they are in the world, without having to text or message or anything, she just taps the Love Tap and she can just tap it, and her wife will get a heartbeat vibration with a little heart on it that lets her know she's thinking about me without having to do anything. So just really cool.
How does that
little
work?
things
Was it like
that.
a text or something?
So it's just a signal that goes device to device through the application, through their device, and they're Bluetooth connected with connected GPS. So it's like sending a text message, but without having to text anything.
Right.
And it's just for those two devices. So it's a nice little fun thing. So it was about, again, health and wellness, but putting things that are going to be interesting to consumers and resonate with them without costing a fortune. And so we know, quite frankly, our goal was never to be a competitor to an Apple or a Samsung or a Garmin, but to be a price-conscious alternative for that demographic that either didn't have it in their budget or simply couldn't justify the price point because they weren't sure how wearables was going to fit into their lifestyle. Maybe they wanted to try it out and, wow, that's a big check to write to get in the door if I'm not even sure if I'm going to use it. $300, $400, $500. So that was a big
They don't
goal.
have that kind of expensive money,
No,
man.
especially
not now.
Right.
Especially not now. Yeah.
You mentioned that people getting experience about how wearables fit into their lifestyle. I was curious from your perspective. You've been around before wearables, not long, but a little while before wearables.
Unfortunately, quite long actually. I got into business when I was 17, so yeah, a long time.
And been into fitness and worked out for a long time. I'm sitting in a similar position, been working out for quite a while, and when I started to get into wearables, it really had a huge impact on me, and it influenced a lot of my behaviors. And I was really curious in terms of your experience when you first came into contact with them and how that changed before and after from that experience.
The truth of the matter with me is that I am a walking wearable.
Yeah.
So I know where my heart rate is. I know how to find it in 6 seconds. I know how to do my HIIT training. I know how many calories I'm eating all the time because I eat the same 20 things, same 5 things. Like, I know all of it. I really do. Like, I know where my heart, I know all of it. The thing is, I am me, and I am, not to sound like a jerk, but there's only one of me, and a handful of other people that I think are as good as me in guiding people to train effectively, to get in the best shape possible. They need the tools. So to me, this is more like a portable me, and I use it as such when working with people.
This is your digital twin.
Kind of. I more think of it like that. It's been a professional, godsend for me. So even my phone, with my friend's dad, who I've just been helping, because I obviously don't have time to personally train, but I can guide people online. I can create challenges online. I can guide my whole app community using these devices. Like, okay, we're gonna do this, and we're gonna hit that, and I wanna see this, and I need to make sure you hit that. Or people come to me with, I don't understand, and why am I not losing weight? I'm like, oh, let me see your, I can see exactly where they are. Like, when I tell you, I mean, this is what I get all day long. Look, here's my blood pressure, here's my pulse, this is my oxygen, this is my sugar. Where do you think, I'm not there, the guy's in New Jersey. How do you think I'm doing it? So as a trainer who misses the days of personal training, but can use it on a broad scale and tell people what this needs to say, or just to help friends and family, it's kind of like an extension of me. That's how I see it.
And that goes on to my second question then. nowadays, I think there's a lot of information. Trackers are sending you messages about this is what's happening with your sleep. There's so much information, and unless you're an expert, it almost becomes irrelevant. It's just loads of numbers coming at you. I understand in this product here, it combines with some of the content that you've got, and I was curious to see, is there a relationship between what's happening on the watch and what you're actually providing within your app?
They sync up. So you can pick, one of them has 28 activities that are signature that I selected that syncs directly with the app. The other one has over 100. But it syncs up with the activity level, the calories burned, because my app tracks and they communicate together, and then the content works with the tracker. So, because we've always had the ability to sync up with different things, this happens to come with my content for 3 months. But you don't have to just use it. Works with everything. It doesn't have to be just my content. But it just allows you to basically hit workouts, for example. Should I do, like a 1-in-1 ratio, a 1-2 ratio, a 2-1 ratio, like 2 on, 1 off, 1 on, 1 off, 2 off, 1 on. They don't know where to be. They don't know where their heart rate should be before it allows you to say, okay, here's where you're gonna be. You're gonna be at this percentage of your heart rate, which is gonna be this number. You don't have to stop and be like, hold that, 1, 2, wait, where am I? I mean, I can do that in my sleep, and so can you. Count the beats for 6 seconds, multiply by 10, okay, I'm at 115, all right, I gotta go harder. It's not high enough. They don't know where they are. Sometimes they're going too hard, they're not recovering long enough. So it's just, it works with all of it. The HIIT workout, because we have audio-only cardio workouts, we have in-the-gym equipment workouts, we have on-demand workouts. It works with all of them. But it works impeccably because when I'm telling you I want your heart rate at 85, is this how you figure? It's like, oh, perfect. I'm where I need to be. Like I said, it's as a trainer, like an actual trainer, it's just such an invaluable tool. It puts a trainer in your pocket, and if you don't know what it's supposed to say, go to my social media, it's free. I'll tell you what it's supposed to say.
Right.
A host of other people will tell you on social media, on YouTube, oh, this is what you should focus on. Your activity, your calories burned, your steps. Like, I also think of using these devices much like I think of fitness. I believe in biomechanics first, good fundamentals. We don't need to be going nuts and loading up shitty fundamentals, right? Bad biomechanics and weighting a squat with a butt wink form that's tragic. Like, no, let's get it. Let's get the basics down solid. So let's learn how to use the most important features when it comes to health and wellness. The pedometer, the heart rate monitor, blood pressure is actually kind of important. A lot of the doctors are going to want you to use it, but let's put that one like on tier 2. Using those 3 features can be game changing. Then the rest is like just a fun discovery. Once you use that stuff in your sleep, then you can get into checking your sleep and taking it out on a run and having all of the other stuff that's available to you. But I think those 3 things are a game changer, and you get them at an amazing price on any device with a cool aesthetic. People are either this or a Rolex. I don't see anything in between.
I love it.
I don't have the money for a Rolex. I mean,
oh, I love it.
Maybe, but
Yeah,
I don't.
yeah,
You know, I'm not
yeah,
going to spend
she
it.
does. She does.
Maybe,
actually.
but I'm not going to spend it. And I think most people don't.
Yeah, that's
So
great.
it's just this is where it's at.
Yeah. So we're at CES. This is your first year here. But
First year exhibiting, yes.
Exhibiting, but the brand has been going since 2015.
Correct.
So given, and there's a shift in, we've seen connected fitness come and go, we've seen personal trainers, we've had a pandemic, all of these things, people are more stressed, less money. What do you see happening over the next 2 or 3 years perhaps in the product? Where are you innovating? And then maybe a question for you just in programming. We know that HIIT's been powerful for the last 4 or 5 years. We know that strength's coming in even stronger. There's definitely outdoors, hiking, all of that stuff. So perhaps some commentary on both of you. Where will we be, do you think, in 3 years? Or what are you building towards?
I think you're really going to see it continue to be part of people's everyday lives and really pushing them forward to be more active. I think the pandemic really showcased how important health is. When you look, not to go too far down that road, but when you look at people who really struggled with that, it was people who had some kind of underlying condition or were not as active as they should be. And so our goal is to help people, partnering with someone like Jillian to allow people to be the best them that they can be, as corny as that sounds. And so putting things that are about health and wellness or about activity, about strength training, about exercise, about what they're eating, and also about combining that with their everyday lives with notifications and mindfulness and sleep rest and all of that to really be a tool to kind of guide your day, from calendar notifications to what your heart rate is and everything in between.
And I really like how you seem to be very guided by the market. Like, it's quite an eclectic mix of things that you're bringing forward, which they're asking for, which I think we've talked a lot about integration. People are like going too far on one silly little micro moment, and they're not really looking at the whole thing,
you got to know
whole
what
life.
you have to know what the consumer needs and what they really want, and provide that for them. And we love that. One of the great things that Jillian has mentioned several times is the aesthetic. Coming from a design background and from an accessories product category standpoint, a lot of tech just doesn't look good.
No,
because it's tech.
It's a statement of yourself, isn't it?
Well, because it's being done by engineers and programmers that are not product designers, and they're not as focused on the aesthetic. We have that in our toolbox. We have experts in that. So it's about combining that to be part of their everyday life. Because people, when you see those ebbs and flows, a lot of people are like, I really want to track my steps, I really want to see my heart rate, I really want to work out, but I'm wearing a suit and I don't want to have this ugly thing on my wrist. Now, I mean, you look at that, you can wear, if you want to just track your steps through the day and the interchangeability of the straps, Jillian can take that when she's doing an interview here or walking around or going to dinner, you know, with a leather double wrap strap, and then she can swap it out for a perforated silicone band if she's going to be hitting the gym hard.
I love it.
So, you know, you really want to be able to provide the consumer with that flexibility.
Yeah, I love it. So you're really listening to the market. And then programming-wise, what are you seeing?
This really depends on the consumer. Because, look, you're always going to have that audience that we need to get off the couch, right? The fundamentals, that we need to help rehab an injury, that we need to get off their diabetes medication, we need to get their blood pressure down. And that's actually a massive part of our demographic. 7 out of 10 Americans are suffering with an obesity-related health condition. So, you know, you're not escaping continuing to get them off the couch, the stand-up desk, you know, the phone conversations as a walk around the block instead of
sitting and
like getting them to stand, getting them to walk, getting them to move, which is yet another reason why I love this device so much, because this guy that I just showed you, my friend's dad, it's been 2 months. I can't get him to get on the phone with me so I can show him like 5 basic strength moves I want to incorporate into his regimen, but he will send me those damn steps every day. He can do it. He finds a way to get it in. So the basics are not going anywhere. I think making those basics easier to accomplish are key. Now, if you're getting into like, all right, fitness fanatics, what do they get into? I would say, let's go to the middle ground. We're seeing far more hybrid approaches, whether it's at home or a spin class or the gym, or you're seeing people just kind of get it where they can find it, and I think that's great. So whether they got used to working out at home, they got excited to go back to the gym, they missed their, you know, their spin class, whatever it might be, I'm seeing people touching on a bunch of different stuff, and I think that's really important. It's like, you just eat sushi all the time? It's not even good for you to do that, right? You want to mix it up so you're not getting repetitive use injuries by doing yoga every day, running every day. So I think that's great. With the more advanced fitness fanatics, this is where I think, you know, things are going to get kind of interesting. And I am a believer in the metaverse. I don't know how long it will take.
Really?
I'm kind of disappointed in the fact that I thought we were coming out with a new headset for Christmas. But once you're in there and you've gamified fitness in that way, I think what could happen with this is going to be incredible when the right people decide they're going to get behind it in the right way. So if I'm a bike company and I decide I want to create a metaverse product and I get on my bike, I can
be anywhere.
I can be anywhere. I can mountain bike and it can simulate that for me. I can do the AIDS ride. I mean, think of the possibilities to gamify it, and even things like Beat Saber and bar fight. I mean, I've got my 70-year-old mother-in-law playing bar fight. You think you're gonna get her to work out? No. But like,
she'll do that.
She'll do that. So I think where we're gonna go is we're gonna start bringing this kind of connectivity into a virtual world. It's not there yet because the headset's clunky and you feel a bit disoriented. So traditional fitness is challenging still while it's in this format, if you will. But gamifying it and then really expanding upon putting people in cool environments and letting them run the Boston Marathon on that treadmill they just bought.
Yeah.
I think it's gonna be, I don't think that's far out.
Yeah.
A couple years.
Yeah.
I really think that's gonna change the game.
Yeah. Great. Are you playing in that space now? Are you programming for that?
You know, we've been trying to get into that space, and so many companies are coming and going right now because it's like the Wild West. So you find a studio, they go out of business, and it's like the meta team gets completely wiped out, and it's a whole new staff the next day, and we're just like, oh my God. So, you know, and we're waiting, like, not for sure they were gonna release that headset that was supposed to be half the size.
Right.
And I'm like, what about a suit, gloves? And they're like, oh, that's like 5 years out. I don't think it's 5 years out. I think it's 2 to 3 years out.
There's some interesting stuff around here with the haptics and that now as well, which is suits and things that are pretty advanced.
I mean, once you kind of, like, anybody I've put into one of these games to play like a Beat Saber or even, you know, a Supernatural or whatever, they're in there. Tennis,
It's engaging,
football.
It's
I can play, if my son's in Los Angeles and I'm in Miami, even though it's not crazy active, we can play ping pong for hours. And I'm on my feet, right? I'm moving my arm, I'm not sitting on the couch eating. So, and it's like he's in the room with my...
And you're connected.
Yeah, it's pretty cool, man.
Yeah.
It's pretty neat. So you can like engage with family and friends anywhere in the world. You can get crazy stats. I think that stuff is
cool.
gonna
Good
be
call
special. I'm
I think
a
it needs
believer.
an architect that we had a conversation earlier, and some of this is that you've got tech people developing it, or you've got fitness people that understand fitness, and it really needs a hybrid of person
Yes, it does.
that can really build the building and bring
Sure
people together,
does.
because otherwise you're going to get this sort of real mess of, you know, you get great ideas, but if you're a fitness person, you think, what the hell is that?
Yeah.
You know it's not going to ever work, and I guess it's thinking about the team somehow.
It's just getting the right people to develop for that platform. So again, like, not to name companies, but if I had treadmills, if I had bikes, if that was what I sold, so yeah, there's connected fitness, that's cool. People can go to the class, that's cool. But being able to jump on a bike and bike any mountain or road bike, the Tour de France, that's awesome. It's a whole different experience. It's just about how they facilitate it, I think, in my opinion. So, with regard to the other shit, it's always something new, dude. And I gotta be honest with you, it's like, oh, this device and that device and this drug and that thing, and I literally live off of like 10 exercises. Pull-ups, push-ups, lunges, squats, planks, variations of.
Yeah.
Walking, step climbing, biking.
The human body.
We overcomplicate, don't we?
Yeah, I mean, I'm very like, sure, whatever but you're not gonna reinvent the wheel. If somebody likes it, excellent.
Just do something,
Yeah.
Get them to move.
Yeah.
Whatever
Love
it takes to get them to move.
Well, thank you so much.
Yeah.
It's been great to spend some time with you, and
Yes.
maybe next year there'll be some kind of like watch with a VR glasses or something.
Hey, we can always, get on that.
There you go. All right, well, thank you very much.
We can put leather on the
There
side.
you go, leather on the side. Your logo and everything.
Steve, come on. Such a pleasure, you guys.
Thank you.